The Lion King. Now, right off the bat, I must say that Lion King 1994 is my favorite animated movie of all time. I mean, everything animated that has come out, The Lion King is my favorite movie. And it's probably in the top 10 of my all-time favorite movies ever, live action or animated or whatever format you want to call it. But yeah, it's right up there. I mean, it's just preposterous how much I love this movie. So walking into the theater, what did I feel about Lion King 2019? Let's find out in this full review. Before we begin, if this is your first time here, in case you have just forgotten, my name is Puneet and you're watching the Afterthoughts Network. Let's get to it. Now, The Lion King 2019, yeah, I guess we'll have to start some sort of nomenclature for all these movies that are coming out, because Disney is like hell-bent on remaking the older movies. I mean, it's not something I'm opposed to, but yeah, they're doing it, so we might as well start a new nomenclature for all of these. This movie is directed by Jon Favreau, who did the live-action remake of the Jungle Book, and he did a phenomenal job with it. And now he's back with the live-action animation, whatever it is, adaptation of The Lion King. Now, James Earl Jones returns as the voice of Mufasa, Donald Glover is giving the voice of Simba, Chiwetel Ejiofor is giving the voice for Scar, Beyonce is the voice for Nala, Timon and Pumbaa are played by Eichner and Seth Rogen. So as this movie was about to release, my expectations were really high from this movie because, as I've already said, The Lion King is like right there at the top of all my movies that I love. Like, expectations were really high. But before walking into the theater, I left those expectations back at home, because that's what I think an objective viewer should do. Whatever your expectations, you should leave them at the door, because otherwise every movie will disappoint you, because your expectations are not going to be met. Because if you have made some preconceived notions about the movie, chances are that it's not going to live up to those expectations. So I left mine back at home, and I must say I love this movie. I mean, like, with every shot, this movie took me back to the 1994 movie, and I realized how much I really love this movie. And in this adaptation, it's hyper realistic. First of all, I mean, you can't even tell at times that you're looking at a computer generated animation. I mean, it looks hyper real, it's live action sort of, but it's still animation, it's still generated on a computer. And everything has been done so beautifully. I mean, Jon Favreau creates such amazing shots in this movie that you are actually wondering if this is real or is this computer generated. Are they trying to fool us? But no, it's actually computer generated, everything in this movie except for one shot. I mean, that's what Jon Favreau said in the premiere screening of this movie, that everything you see is computer generated except for one shot. Why did they include one real shot? I don't know. Everything that has been done in this movie is really, really good. I mean, it is an adaptation of the original 1994 The Lion King. So the story beats are the same. Some people are calling it a shot-by-shot remake or a frame-by-frame remake. It's not. First of all, The Lion King is basically Hamlet for kids. I mean, Hamlet in a cartoon form. That's what The Lion King story was. So in this adaptation, nothing's going to change. It's the same story that you have already seen, but it is done in a hyper realistic way. And that is basically what I think a remake or an adaptation should do. I mean, you tell the story in a different form. You could have tried something different, but I don't think there's much to do with that story, because it's a very basic Shakespearean story that has been told in a very Disney sort of way. So yes, it looks real, and this adaptation could have done something different with it, but they didn't. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't know why people are just ranting about this movie does not do anything differently, when they have created something from cartoon to probably like live action. It's different enough. I mean, they have tried different things with it. So when you're changing the storytelling mode from a cartoon to a, I don't know, hyper realistic animation, you're changing something. maybe not the story beats, you're changing the medium of storytelling. And that, in my thinking, is going different enough. So the positive side to this hyper-realistic animation is that everything is gorgeous. I mean, from the blades of the grass to the skies to the birds flying to the mannerisms of the animals to the movement of the animals, everything looks hyper real. You see the momentum in the way the lions are moving. You see the skin tones changing when the lions are moving. I mean, it's so realistic that you'll always wonder if it's computer generated or it is a shot taken from some Nat Geo documentary. Now, the negative side to this hyper-realistic animation is that the animals don't emote well. I mean, you don't see these sort of facial mannerisms on the faces of animals because it's not a cartoon. It's a live action adaptation, sort of, whatever you want. I'll call it live action because it looks hyper real. So yeah, it's a live action adaptation. So you don't see these sort of facial expressions or wonderment or excitement on the faces of animals. But it has been done so beautifully that there are slight nuances in the mannerisms of the animals, in the facial expressions, a very slight nod. Or you can see it in the body language and you can guess what the character is thinking. I mean, you don't need to emote it from the faces, and that is basically the difference. Because what I realized that some people might think that in this movie the characters are basically flat, they are not emoting. There's a difference between cartoon and live action, and if you're down with it, you'll love this movie. Now, they have also changed a few little things here and there. Some songs have been edited to they have shortened them, or they have changed the backgrounds in it, or they have changed the setting up of it. Yes, that has been done just because they've gone with this live action medium. I mean, every decision of making a change that they took it because they are going through this hyper realistic way. It's not a cartoon. They're going for the real things. And so if you're down with seeing everything real, then you love this movie. And I really love this movie for all it did with making the cartoon into a real live action scene. Now, moving on from that topic, I must say the standout performers of this movie were Timon and Pumbaa. I mean, Seth Rogen was just born to play the character of Pumbaa. I mean, he's so good. And the chemistry between Timon and Pumbaa is absolutely right there, what it was in the 1994 version of The Lion King. It's exactly the same. Yes, the jokes are different, the mannerisms are different, the to and fro between Timon and Pumbaa are different, but it's basically the same chemistry. And if you loved that one, you love this one. Now, in the original movie, the voice of Scar was given by Jeremy Irons. That was a really menacing voice, and the charisma behind that voice was amazing, and that's what got you hooked into the character of Scar. In this movie, the voice is given by Chiwetel Ejiofor, and I must say, he brings that charisma back into the character of Scar. It's not the same. He's not doing a Jeremy Irons impression, but he's brought something of his own into the movie. He gives a different characteristic, a different mannerism to the character of Scar. I mean, I really love that. And everything that has been done in the movie, all the changes that they made, is keeping into account all these things. I mean, as the character has changed, they've actually gone and changed a little bit of stories here and there so that it fits better to this character, if you know what I mean. And if you really give this movie a chance, keeping in mind that this is a hyper real version, not a cartoon, a real version, then I think you'll also love this movie, or basically like this movie. So what are your thoughts on this movie? Are you planning to see it, or have you already seen this movie? Whatever you think, please write it down in the comment section below. What were your expectations, and what are your expectations after hearing this review? Please tell it to me in the comment section below and let me know. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it for some weird reason, give it a thumbs down. And if you want to see more from our channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it so that you'll be notified whenever a new video drops. Till that happens, my name is Puneet and you're watching the Afterthoughts Network. Bye bye.